This episode of the Long Run Podcast is sponsored by Skechers. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very confused long run show here at 40runs.com. We're all a bit weird and freaked out because we're recording this on a system that's been updated and we don't know what this is going to turn out like. So this could be the most amazing podcast and sort of video thing ever, or it's going to come out and sound and look terrible. So let us know in the comments and reviews which way it went, because we don't know why we're recording this. So we are recording this because it is what, Ben?
Great North Run weekend.
Correct. And I personally am travelling up on a train as we speak because they're no longer striking. And we wanted to do this because we wanted basically the Friday off. That's pretty much it. So we try and do this. And so this is an email special. So thank you to everybody who genuinely sends in emails. We don't do these as often as we should because you guys do send in a lot. So thank you very much to everybody who sends in. Can anybody remember the email address? Because Wilco's not here.
longrunshow@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Ooh.
So get in your questions or comments or whatever you want to see on the show. Maybe you're from Virgin Atlantic and you want to sponsor the show. We're very happy to take your money and free flights to Disney to go and get our friend who used to be on the show. So that's that. We've got to give a shout out to our sponsors at Skechers.co.uk. Head over there and smash the living daylights out of that. Once you've done your shopping there, Ben, probably where would you like to go next?
Oh, from there, I think I kind of fancy to get some fueling.
Fueling. What from where would you recommend?
I'd go Kendall Mint Company.
And what code would you use if you was on their website?
I'll try 40 runs, see what they got me.
Nice discount.
Yeah.
I mean, so Ben's got that. What would you say would you do next?
I head over to Start Fitness.
Would you? Why is that?
To get some new socks and trainers, you know.
Would you use a code to get some money off?
Yeah, 40 runs, 10% off.
Okay, interesting. And Al, have you ever thought about using a training app from somebody like who works with the London Marathon and the biggest running club in the country?
Yes. Oh, you will know who it is, sorry. Cooper. I also know who it is. Cooper.
So if you go to 40runs.com/Cooper, you're going to get a nice trial, and Al recommends it. So there you go. It's been given the Al seal of approval. So yes, we thought we'd spend the next 30 odd minutes basically answering your questions. So sit down. If you're sitting on the train, get a drink. I've got a new one here. Anyone know what's in there? Do you know what's in there? Have a guess why I drink it.
Watermelon or pomegranate, I reckon.
It matches your T-shirt.
Skechers. It's not Skechers drink, by the way, but if they want to develop that, I'm happy to get on board. Carry on. It's not. You haven't guessed right yet. Al, go on.
Mango and cranberry.
Cherryade.
Strawberry.
Cherryade. Do you remember that? That was naughty.
Dr. Pepper's.
No, I'm not allowed them anymore.
You're not allowed that anymore.
No.
It is actually raspberry and some other some ginseng stuff or whatever it's called. I don't know, some old took that's going to make me feel better, be like a hero on Sunday. I don't know the brand, otherwise I'll give them a shout because they might send me some free stuff. Okay, right. So should we just
after that rave review?
Yeah. What was it? Al, what you call it?
Tenzing.
No, it wasn't Tenzing. It was
not Tenzing.
I love
ginseng.
Ginseng is the.
It's meant to be good for you or something.
Looks like it's repeating on you.
Yeah, it is. It's not like that Dr. Pepper. I was thinking about that. If you've not listened to our two shows while I was on holiday, I can't remember what we spoke about. Listen to them because it's basically fueled by sugar. I actually think that we should do a live episode where we're all live, yeah, and we should all have 3 cans of that and then go on stage. Because I think it'd be awesome.
Can I tell you, there's somewhere closer to home, your home, that does that stuff. So you don't have to go to Southend and get it. Yeah.
The Blue Shop down the end of my road.
No, but in the next town in Ware. I saw it the other day and I thought, I actually was going to send you a picture and thought, don't bother.
No, but I think actually when we do the National Running Show, well, we're not doing their show, we're doing our own one because they, anyway, it's another story. I don't want to get in trouble with admin. She's here. I'll tell you when she's not here. But basically, I think before we do that live show, we should all have 3 cans of Dr. Pepper each. You can have the strawberries and cream or the cream soda. It's entirely up to you, right? And then go on stage and do it. Be fair, that would be a good show.
That'd be brilliant.
You sound convinced. I think it would be awesome. It would be, honestly, I think it'd be brilliant. 3 cans each, load up and censor. What do you think? Al?
Can I make it into an ice cream float by sticking a dollop of ice cream in as well?
Oh,
Do
you
you
can
remember
do it
those?
like you consume the Dr. Pepper and then you go on stage and then we just talk very fast with no actually no care about what we're saying. I just think it would be brilliant. Anyway,
I like a normal Friday night then, basically.
basically, yeah, it's just the same as a normal show, really. I don't know why we're building it up. Anyway, if you'd like to see that, email in drpepper@gmail.com. Okay, right. So I'm going to first, these questions are quite broad, some of these. I was like, okay, so this one is from, and I don't know who these people are, but thank you very much. Wendy Richards.
Evening, Wendy.
Evening, Wendy. It's a brilliant question. I think it's a great one to start with. How do I improve my running speed? I mean, you couldn't get a better question to start with because it could be a 3-hour answer, or we could try and cut it down. So let's try and help Wendy out. How can we help Wendy improve her speed? I'm going to start with you, Ben, because I know you've got probably the best coach in the country who's taken you from running, I don't know, whatever it was, 7-hour marathons, or whatever it is, to now running sub 3. But what advice can you give to Wendy about improving your speed from your experience?
So from my experience, I think don't neglect your easy pace runs. That have a bit of structure around your training. I'm not saying that you don't already, but have that structure in that you're training at the pace you want. Don't neglect the easy pace runs because they will get you there. And also get some threshold sessions in there as well. So you're training kind of above the pace, below the pace, and at the pace. And you should then start seeing your pace start to increase. Also, don't forget, your other strength and conditioning, cross training, things like that. But I'm sure the others will touch on that as well.
Okay. Admin, if you didn't have a broken foot, how would you be getting faster?
Swimming.
It's not swimming. That we don't talk about that on here.
Would be. I've realised the benefits and all this other stuff. Structure to your running. So a bit like Ben said, like thinking about different runs, different types of runs, whether it be
varying your runs.
Exactly. Varying your runs. Just running as fast as you can for as long as you can every time is not going to do what you need it to. Strength and conditioning, swimming and cycling actually do help. He's ignoring me.
I'm not talking about biking either.
No, but I'm just informing everybody that technically they do help you.
Al, what do you make of it? What would you do, Al, to get faster? Tell Wendy what you need to do.
So I'd also have a look at your running form. So make sure you are kind of running as tall as you can, pinning your shoulders back, keeping your chin up. So you're kind of just running efficiently. And have a look at your cadence as well, because the quicker you can turn over your feet will actually help you run a bit quicker when you are doing your kind of structured threshold and tempos and fartleks. And don't neglect the glutes when you're doing your strength and conditioning. They are your biggest muscles and should be your biggest friend when it comes to generating power to run faster.
All very good answers. I would say the feedback I get from the runners that I coach, and if you didn't know, you can go to 40runs.com, check out performance coaching. We do the coaching side of the app and things like that. But it's confidence. The thing that my runners suffer most with in the high efforts that we give them is confidence. To know to be able to push it, right? Is there always that reluctance that they don't know where that sort of operating window is? It's having the confidence to do it. Now, an easy way to do that, and it's funny enough, I spoke to a client about this week, so let's use them as an example, was to take the distance down. So you might be fretting about how long you've got to do that interval or how far you've got to do that interval. So cut it short. So this is what I said to somebody this week. Let's say, just hypothetically, we are running to the end of the road for that interval. But along there's 5 things whether it's 5 houses, 5 cars, 5 lampposts. We'll use lampposts. Before you're aiming to finish full out at the end of that road, and that's the last lamppost, by mistake. Well, don't start there. Week 1, when you get these trying to do intervals, just do your fast bit. Run as hard as you can to the first lamppost. Do that 6 times. Have a recovery. Do it again. Get the comment. Feel and understand. And then think to yourself, you know what? Did I give full beans on that or not? Probably not. So next week, go back. Do exactly the same in week 2. But go to that lamppost and go there hard. Okay? Follow me. Take that confidence and maybe go to the second or third one. And try that again. You do that a few times, you'll get confident at running really fast, yeah, but over a shorter period. And then when you feel like you've nailed it, then go to the longer one and really try and improve over that interval. Yeah, it's having the confidence to do it. Just because it sets you a pace or a target on that doesn't mean you have to hit it. It's there to try and get you to achieve it, but you're not going to do that every single time, okay? So think about it more as effort. But don't be overwhelmed by it. Get confidence by breaking it down and going maybe a little bit shorter and get really good at doing that. And then go, you know what? I really can do that now. I'm like a hero there. I'm going to do it to that bit. And I'm going to then get really good at that. Then move on. So try that, Wendy. Okay. Let's move on to... Actually, it's not too bad, actually. It's Paul, but I think I'm going to get this... Lantern. So in terms of avoiding injuries, he's asking, how do we avoid injuries? What do we do? Just because basically, I've cut it down. Long story short, he gets injured quite a lot. So what's the best way to avoid injuries? Al?
Listen to your body first and foremost. If we're in a training plan and you've got your 3, 4 or 5 sessions planned, the temptation is just to go for everyone. Sometimes you just have to ease off. You don't want to kind of over push it. That would be the first thing. Second thing, we've talked about this in the last question, but make sure you're doing cross training and strength and conditioning so that you are kind of complementing the running. And I guess the third element is, and it's part of this, make sure you're kind of working at different intensities. So it's not always full out every session. Easy runs help build the mileage, help build endurance, but also give you recovery time as well, whilst still being on your feet.
Good. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to ask this to you because you are injured. So it's pointless me asking you this. Ben.
Maybe I was going to have she got injured. So I think for that, I think touching on what Al said, don't neglect the rest as well. I think rest days are important. At the end of runs, making sure even before runs, mate, bit of a warm up. Don't go, don't just go from kind of cold to trying to run at a crazy pace if you're doing like a threshold session or something like that. So the warm ups and stretching at the end, I think Al really touched on it. If you are kind of regularly getting injured, it might be saying to you that there's an underlying problem, be it with alignment, something like that. So it might be worth going and speaking to the wizard that is Monica, or other medical professionals available. But kind of having a look at that alignment, and it might be that again, Al touched on the glutes. They're your biggest muscles, so that might be kind of looking at that for a bit of strength and conditioning to focus there.
It's interesting. I again make it relatable because I was talking to a client today, and she was saying about her Achilles. She's in week 3 of her plan. She's working towards London, and she's absolutely smashing it, doing a great job. But she was saying that she's feeling her Achilles a little bit, and she's done the sensible thing. She's booked in to see somebody, to get some stuff. And I said to her, well, how much are you stretching? And she looked at me like I'd seen that look a million times, which is basically zero.
None.
So I said to her, look, it's in an ideal world, and we're all full-time paid on YouTube and running elites, that we are. We get home, we do our stretching because we can film it and put it on the gram or TikTok, right? but then everybody else has a life and is not able to do that when they finish their run. Yeah, they walk in the house and the kids are screaming and the dog wants to go out for a walk, right? So if you can't do your stretching then maybe in front of the TV, get a resistance band out and do a little bit there. There's plenty of good stretches you can do. But the tip that I gave her is, have you thought about it, doing your stretches all day? I said, so for example, if I'm in the lift, you're going to love this, Ben, and I'm on my own, I've got my calves up against the elevator, the side, and I'm stretching my calves. If I'm sitting there and there's no one sitting on the seat opposite me, I'm putting my leg up and I'm pulling my toes back because I'm stretching my hamstrings. If I know one's around, I'll sit on wall, stretch out as well. And it's like you can do cheap wins like that through the day. She then said, well, I've got a desk that goes up. Well, there's a great thing on Amazon, which is like this foam wedge board that you can get that if you stand on it, stretches your calves out. You can do one leg stands and all those sort of things. They're like cheap wins, right, that you can get throughout the day. Those sort of little stretches, that sort of little change in your routine, right, will help avoid some of those injuries. They won't necessarily avoid injuries totally, but doing that sort of recovery process and doing better at it will help. Now, Al, I'm going to come to you on this one start, and then I'm actually going to go to Admin because she did do some running in the past. This is from, this is easy, this one, Julie Barnett. There you go, smashes. And by the way, apologies if I'm not reading the whole thing out, I've condensed it, okay? And thanks for all the lovely emails. Basically, she wants to increase her running endurance. Long story short, she struggles over a certain distance effectively. So she's asking, is there any sort of good way or better way to increase her endurance?
I think there's two things. First of all, slow it down. So don't know what pace you're running at. Can't tell from the question.
Yeah, she didn't say, yeah.
80% at least should be your really easy pace and conversational pace. So, if you're able to go out with a running buddy, you should be chatting all the way around. And what that does is that helps build your endurance engine. So that's probably the first and top tip. Secondly, build mileage, but build it slowly. So incrementally, don't suddenly go from regularly running 5Ks and thinking I've smashed this, let's go up to 10K. Let's slowly build it. And again, you'll notice that you're building endurance and you don't even notice the small increments day by day, run by run, week by week. But then suddenly you're going a lot longer and a lot further than you probably were doing 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. So it's be sensible and be patient as well as part of those two elements.
Admin, how did you build up your endurance?
Consistency. It's the biggest tip, I think, for me is consistency is key, because to Al's point, yes, look, build it up slowly. Don't try overnight. I used to add on a mile or a kilometre like every time, or every long run, for example, but doing those short runs in between and being consistent. So if you can run 3 times a week, run 3 times a week. If you can do 4 times a week, I found what really helped as well, just for me mentally, is picking days. So at the beginning of the week, I'm going to run 1, 2, 3 days, because it's almost like ticking them off, but those things slowly will help it build. Okay. Keep at it.
All right. I'm going to throw this one over to you, Ben, because the chap's name was Ben Barnes. Now, Ben is a new runner, a bit like you were a couple of years ago, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he's asking, to be fair, I mean, these are good questions, actually. But long story short, how often should he run each week? Now, to give you some sort of context, he's not got a race or anything like that. He's just wants to get fit, lose some weight, that sort of stuff, right? But he's, I wouldn't say overwhelmed, because I'm probably putting words into his mouth, but like, he sees a lot of people doing a lot of mileage, and he sees, like, obviously all the current trends of, everybody out there doing a high rocks every day and running the tube every day and all this sort of stuff. So long story short, he's like, how much should I run each week?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, there's going to be a lot of different factors that kind of come into this.
Let's generalize.
Yeah. So I think, Sabrina touched on a really good point earlier in terms of how many times a week can you run? Set yourself an achievable goal from that perspective
Mhm.
that gives you that, I think with running, mentality and that positive mindset is probably over half of it. So if you set yourself that goal of I'm going to go out 3 times a week and that's achievable for you, great, get that done. Might be worth, if you are a new runner, follow, look at a Couch to 5K
Cooper, get Cooper.
yeah,
Go to
exactly.
40runs.com/, like we did there, Ben.
Yeah,
/Cooper and get a free trial on the
Well,
#1 running app.
exactly.
Yeah.
So pick that up, but have that plan, and that actually then there's a little bit of structure around it that then you're slowly building up, and you can kind of tick it off. It might be worth, whilst you don't have a race booked, have you got a goal in mind that you're working towards, just so that you keep that motivation. Hopefully you're in 40 runs. If not, join the Facebook community, Global Run Crew, if there's not a satellite club near you as well.
Actually, we've got a question about that, so I'll come on to that.
But yeah, but I genuinely think as well, but whilst you're doing that, it's not necessarily all about, as we said, for everyone, right? It's that, make sure you're stretching afterwards, make sure you're coming, so that you're not just going out there and just knocking a 10K out the park and getting injured. Build up sensibly, build up slowly, and kind of do it for, I was going to say the long run, but you know what I mean.
Like we did there.
Thank you very much.
Al, anything on that to add?
Yeah, I think I'd probably say, whilst lots of the plans talk about a sweet spot of so many days, I would just make sure that you enjoy every run. And if that means running slightly less, to make sure you enjoy every run rather than trying to push it and doing one too many and either hurting yourself or, getting frustrated. Better to come off a run feeling good about it than trying to push it and then getting frustrated. So enjoyment is probably the key word rather than a frequency, because if you are enjoying it, you're probably going to be motivated to just keep pushing yourself to keep going forward.
Admin, anything to add?
Just try and block out the noise. I know it's much easier said than done, but if he's starting out his journey and he's looking around and there's people running 100 miles a week and telling you you've got to do this, this and this, it's like, know your own limits and stay in your own path, because it will help in the long run. Just trying to do what everyone else is doing around you, you're going to end up injured and probably hating it. So
yeah, I think that's all fair. Personally, I think like we've spoken about it on other stuff. I think getting the structure and all serious point, getting something like Cooper, get the trial, whatever, for a couple of weeks on 40runs.com/Cooper. That's going to give you some structure. That's going to give you some idea what you should and shouldn't be doing. They've got some basic stuff on there, but having that, giving you a guide so you ain't going out 5 times a day and doing what Speedgoat does and run all your mileage in a week and then get injured, because I think that's the worst thing you could do. Right, we've got one more. Might have a question for another one, but where was it? Because it actually, what you were saying, it leaded on from that. So I'm gonna. Where was it? This was from number 4. Was Dell? I can't remember writing now. I think it's Chapman. It's because I didn't write it properly. I have a handwriting of a 3-year-old. So it was basically, and it was following on from that. How can she was talking about motivation. So into her running, blah blah blah. Motivation's dropped. How can, and she's now struggling to get out. Oh, she was. So long story short, how can she stay motivated to run regularly? Regularly. Leave that with you. Admin, as the person who has a broken foot, you can answer that first.
Well, we've already kind of touched on this stuff, but structure is first. So knowing what you can do, like when you can do it. I found running with people, so it held me accountable. So they also arranging to meet up with somebody saying we're going to run on Tuesday at this time meant that I would never want to let them down. So I'd go, right, I need to get my shoes on and get out there and do it. So I think it will benefit you by having that kind of plan in place and someone to run with, but also probably benefit them because they know they've got to do it as well. I think it also takes some of the pressure off, because it doesn't have to be that you're looking at your watch constantly. It's that actually I'm just going out to see my friend or to go for a little run. And that helps. So I think, yeah.
Al?
I would add to that in terms of making sure that you are running in places that you enjoy being in. So, find some routes that even if you don't want to run, you're happy to be there and just be out in the environment, out in the open, in the environment, and just taking in, the little bit of sunshine we do get in the UK, because it will make you feel good, and the chances are you'll then feel motivated to perhaps go out and run. If it's all, we'd all love to run with our buddies all the time, and that's not always possible, but there are ways to do it virtually. So if you're in the 40 Runs Facebook group, you might know of the Global Run Crew that Ben talked about, but that can provide accountability as well. So we know lots of people that run solo but still get the benefit of that accountability and that motivation by sharing their runs, sharing their wins, sharing their frustrations, and just being part of that community, because it's not easy. We all have good days, we all have bad days, and we want to share the wins, and we also kind of want to have a little bit of comfort when we're not doing perhaps as well as we thought we would. So there are other ways of getting that kind of community support. Ideally it's great if you can run with someone, but there's other ways of doing it as well. So look up our Global Run Crew.
Ben?
The only thing I would add to that is, if what was your almost question? What was your original motivation to get out running, and where did that kind of lose? Because for some of us, it's we start adding in the expectation of times, distances, and things like that, and then actually that creates a new pressure, and that can make you lose your motivation. So go back to why you started. I think to Al's point on the previous question, the enjoyment of it. And things like that. So why did you start in the first place? Go back. We were talking about making notes. So think about that and kind of get back to that place.
Yeah.
And I just pick up on that from a personal point of view in terms of having the right focus. So I've fallen out of love with running pretty much this year, and I think that was because I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to achieve certain things, and I was kind of getting stressed by watching everyone on Strava, and I was comparing myself and doubting myself. And I've kind of changed my mindset by going, actually, I should be comparing myself to the people that don't run. I should be comparing myself to all my mates and ex-schoolmates and colleagues that don't exercise, because I'm smashing it by just getting out the door. Even if I'm just doing 5 minutes, I'm winning compared to that cohort of people. So it's that simple kind of reframing why I'm doing it has helped me kind of go, yeah, I kind of want to do this because this is important to me.
I mean, I think that's brilliant, Al, what you just said, actually, in terms of comparing yourself or something like that. I think, there's a lot to take away there. I think, I mean, we always go back to the satellite groups and stuff like that, because they are key. The Global Run Crews, like I can't remember who said it, but it is fantastic in terms of motivation. I think I don't think you kind of touched it. It's always the why. I think that's why are you doing this? Why are you, like Al said, why are you not that person who's just sitting at home doing nothing? You're comparing yourself to somebody. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you actually doing this? Like, I can't remember. Oh, it's Ben, wasn't it? Like, what's the motivation to start running? Well, he wants to lose some weight and get a bit fitter. Why is that? So that's a good way to remember sort of the how, really. I think that's important. Okay, I'll chuck a cheeky one in. Oh, blimey.
Oh dear.
If you can find it.
You read his handwriting.
No. Okay. All right. This one, we'll do one tip from each of you. I can't, whatever the name is. Tom, Dick and Harry, this is from. Sorry, if this is genuine your question, I do apologize. But basically, how do we, or how can we recommend preparing for a race? Let's go for the one tip to help this, whoever is Tom, Dick and Harry, sorry, to prepare for a race. Basically, along the lines of they've had a shocker every race they're doing. I think that happens to some people. They like train really well, but race terrible. I think that does happen. What do you do to prepare for a race to get the most out of it, Abin? One thing that you do that in terms of your race versus your training differently.
Go out with the mindset that you can do it and know you can do it. I think being able to fight that mental battle, because it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough. But no, trust in your training and just have the confidence to give it your best shot.
Okay. Ben?
It's kind of similar, but I would say have a strategy. So something that something that works for you. Ignore the voices around you and people kind of saying, oh, you should do it that way, you should do it that way, you should do it that way. What's worked for you? Make sure you've got that strategy and try and stick to it. Bear in mind the first 5, use the first 5K as a settle in. Everyone will go out too fast. We all do it. Well, I say we all do it. I think we all do it. We get excited. There's a crowd and it's brilliant. And then, you don't want to blow up later on. So just kind of use the first 5K, settle in, but have that strategy of how you're going to attack the race. And I think that then touches on Sabrina's point of having the kind of confidence there as well.
Al, finish us off.
Yeah, nothing new on race day. Don't create any pressures or any anxieties by trying to do something different that you're just not regularly doing as part of your training runs, because chances are it will backfire, because you don't know how you're going to respond, whether that's new shoes, new outfit, new gels, new route, whatever. Just try and stick to things that are going to just reduce that anxiety and block out that noise, which I think was an answer to a previous question as well.
Lovely. That is the end of the show. The end of the show before the real show.
What's your top tip for that one?
Believe. Always have belief. Believe in yourself. Believe in, and this is coming from me, by the way, the most self-doubted person in the world. But honestly, have the bollocks to turn around and go, you know what, I'm going to smash this. And wake up and I'm going to walk into the ring and knock that geezer out. Have that much confidence in what you're about to do. If you go on that start line, you think, oh shit, I'm not really sure about this. What type? Oh, gel, all that. Park it. Go there like you're going to knock out the heavyweight champion of the world, and it will make a huge difference. And it's not all the time. You're not going to feel like all the time, but if you can, it will make a huge difference. So have the confidence to believe in yourself. That's why I called the book, the journal that you can buy on Amazon. Believe. See what I did there, Ben. Okay, people. Right, that's it. That's the end of the show. Before the end of the show that we're going to be recording at the Great North Run, and we shall be back live maybe next week. We'll be back live the following.
Yeah, Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it's Friday the 13th. It's still a couple of weeks till we're not here. Anyway, I figured that out. We shall wing it as always. Hopefully, at some point, our friend the Hobbit comes back from America after his 6 months off. When he does, we're absolutely going to hammer him. I'm just putting that out there. I don't think that's anything new to anybody's ears, really. So, yes, where's the outro music? It's there. So I'm going to say bye. Do you want to say bye?
Bye.
Goodbye,
boys.
everyone.
We shall see you at some point. Bye.